Good morning, everyone. It's me, Jordan Thomas, reporting to you live from Edison, New Jersey. And today I want to talk about the New York Mets and just their terrible stretch right now. And they choose the absolute worst time to go on a 5-game losing streak. They just look terrible. They lost the last 2 games in Cincinnati, and then they had a crucial 4-game series this week. Today is the last game of that 4-game series in Philadelphia, and the Mets have already lost the first 3 games of that series. So they've lost 5 straight, and their wild card lead, which was 5 games a couple days ago, is dwindled down to 2. So not a good stretch for the Mets, as the offense just can't hit anything. They couldn't hit water if it was smacked in their face. Like, that's how bad they are on offense. And the pitching is just terrible. We got major league pitchers who can't even go 5 innings. We have an incompetent manager, and it's just a frustrating time to be a Met fan. Plain and simple. They knew how important these games was coming into Cincinnati and the Philadelphia series, and they just look terrible. They look lifeless at times, and it's just disgusting to watch as a Met fan. Like, it's one thing to lose, but then it's another to just be totally outplayed. And put it frankly, the Mets have gotten their ass kicked 3 straight games by the Philadelphia. Now, the first game, they could have won that in the 9th inning. They lost 1-0. But the last 2 games were just awful. We got our asses handed to us by the Phillies. And I know the Phillies are a good team. And I didn't expect the Mets to sweep the Phillies, but I was hoping that the Mets could at least split the series with the Phillies. But no, they lost the first 3 games. Now all they could do is win 1 out of 4. They already lost the series. And I was hoping the Mets could finish with at least a 500 road trip. Like, finish 5-5. Now the best they could finish with is 4-6, which is terrible considering they started the road trip so well by beating the Tigers 2 out of 3. And they won the first game in Cincinnati. And then they've lost the last 5. Like, there is no excuse for it. The offense can't hit. They're getting runners in scoring position, can't hit. And then the pitching is just terrible. Like, it's been terrible for a long time, but the starting pitching, we gotta get into the playoffs. And right now, the way they're looking, they're not going anywhere. And the way they're looking, even if they make the playoffs, they're gonna be embarrassed. So they need to figure something out. The starters gotta be better. They gotta pitch more innings, and the offense they need to do what they did in August. They need to hit more runners in scoring position. But this is why when the Mets was raking on offense in August, that's why I was stressing that the Mets needed to do better and the pitching needed to be better. In August, they should have done better than 11-16. They should have won more games than that. They should have won at least 16 games out of those 27 games. You know, those 5 games, if they would have won at least 5 more games, we wouldn't be in this position where we have to claw our way to the playoff, and we got to stress every game, and everything is just so stressful. And, you know, like, it's just, if the Mets would have won more games in August, we wouldn't be in this position where we have Cincinnati, we have San Francisco nipping at our heels, and we got to win almost every game. And what makes it tough is, so after today's game, we have 15 games left. None of our last 15 games are on the road. So the Mets need to at least win a game today, at least win 1 out of 4, one of the games in Philadelphia. And then they have a 9-game homestand against Texas. They have a 9-game homestand against Texas, San Diego, and another team that comes in also. But they have to get it together, honestly. They have to. Or else the Mets are going to be they're going to be on the couch come October. And if that happens, some people got to get moved, because last year they accomplished way more and there was nothing expected of the Mets. And then this year, they have the same team, but they're severely underachieving at times. So they gotta figure something out. They gotta find a way to just. They need a winning streak. They need at least, if they could get a 5-game winning streak. That first, just start off by winning 1 game, but they need at least a 5-game winning streak. That would help right now, because we have no room for error. Our backs, we're up 2 games, but we have no room for error. We gotta. Today is a must. Every game from now on, these 16 games, they're not regular season games anymore. They're postseason games. So they need wins, and they need them in a hurry. So they gotta figure something out. And these last 16 games are gonna be. These gonna be some pressure-filled 16 games, but hopefully the Mets pulled through. I hope the Mets could at least finish 10-6, at least something like that. Over 500. I just want them to finish strong. That's all I want. And show some life. Show like you belong there. Don't at least compete. Like the last couple of days, they haven't competed. They just been ran over. So hopefully they get better. But thank you everyone for listening to my video. I just want to say have a good day everyone, and stay safe.